Welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about the audiobook, The Jade Pyramid, written by Martin Day. This story is set within the medieval period of Japan, which is a time in Japan's history which has been the subject of many fictional stories, and is also the inspiration for many other stories like Star Wars and a lot of great Japanese samurai films as well. However, you'd be surprised how little there is in the Doctor Who canon set within this period. Honest to God, doing the research on Wikipedia, there are only 2 stories set within this period. 2 stories over the entire Doctor Who canon. This and a first Doctor audio drama called Barbara and the Samurai. The Barbarians and the Samurai, sorry. And that's it. I don't know why, but I find that absolutely astonishing. And the fact that this came out first means that by 2010, there was 2011. This came out in 2011. Apparently. This story was the only story in the entire Doctor Who history that was set in medieval Japan. I don't know why, that just is absolutely astonishing to me, especially, you get some really cool visuals and you get some really cool style, and Doctor Who has also taken inspiration from Asian and Japanese mythology and culture. A not so great example is the Talons of Wing Chiang. But yeah, it's very odd. As somebody who really likes like ninjas and stuff, I mean, come on, who doesn't like a good ninja? Even though, despite the cover, the ninja itself only has like 1 scene. But yeah, it's strange. This is the only Martin Day story that I own. However, he has been a prolific writer for the Doctor Who canon, writing many Doctor Who novels set within the past Doctor's ranges, mainly to tackle him with the second Doctor, which means that he is actually a pretty great fit for the 11th Doctor, which Doctor borrows heavily from the second Doctor, with Matt Smith even stating that Patrick Troughton is his favourite Doctor and his inspiration for playing the 11th Doctor the way he did, which is always awesome. Also, Matt Smith's favourite story that he's not involved in is Tomb of the Cybermen, which just makes him that much more awesome, if you ask me. But yeah, it's read by Matt Smith, which is one of the reasons I bought this story. He did 3 exclusive to audiobooks. One we've tackled called The Runaway Train. We got this one, and then we got another one as well, which we'll be tackling. And the reason why I buy these is one's of Matt Smith is because it's the closest thing we're going to get to Matt Smith appearing in a Big Finish audio drama. Him doing an audio drama. And he reads out the novel. And a lot of people always ask me, when it comes to like audiobooks and comics and novels, is does it feel authentic to its Doctor Who era, to its Doctor Who roots? Can you listen to this and picture Matt Smith saying these lines on television with Karen Gillan as Amy Pond? And yes, Matt Smith really gets out his performance here. And though his impression of Karen Gillan is a lot to be desired, you do really get the feel of the Matt Smith era here, despite the fact that I Am the Doctor does not play at all. The music here, I don't think it actually says. It doesn't actually say who did the music. That's a shame. The cover here is by Paul Hockerin, but I can't see anywhere where it says the music, which is an absolute shame, if you ask me. So yeah, a lot of people seem to be unaware of this story's existence. Seemingly, a lot of people are aware of the story The Runaway Train for people who are actually interested in listening to audiobooks and more exclusively audio-exclusive audiobooks. But this one, and a lot of others, especially during the 11th Doctor era, seem to go way over people's heads, which would probably go into explaining why they became less popular over time, and the preceding Doctors would have much fewer audiobooks and even more fewer exclusive to audiobooks in their pipeline of canon. So that is a shame. Matt Smith, also as well, is the last Doctor to do the reading of his own audiobooks, with Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker not doing any audiobooks for their respective Doctors, which is a shame. As of 2021, which is when I'm recording this, I'm actually recording this a year prior to when this episode is airing. I am currently in June 2021, so hello everybody from 2022. But yeah, not much people talk about it, not much people know about it, which is strange because it's one of the few Doctor Who canons that are set within Japan's medieval history, and I just thought it's really interesting, so I'm here now discussing it with you today from a year ago. So, what's the story about? We start off, and right off the bat, Martin Day shows that he is a great writer when it comes to settings. Right off the bat, we get a great explanation of the village, the city, the way this city and place is structured. We quickly learn that there's this shogun with these kind of bear-like mannequins guarding the area, which is forbidden from anyone who is not a monk. We also learn that in medieval Japan, Japan was basically locked away from the rest of the world and was deemed a very isolated country in this part of history. And so when the Doctor and Amy arrive, they meet an old man, an elder of the village, Sadta, who he's this old man who helps this village around, and he seems to be a very nice old man who greets the Doctor and Amy very politely, although he is kind of estranged by their appearance as he is unfamiliar with outsiders. However, because of the TARDIS translation circuits, meaning that the Doctor and Amy now speak fluent Japanese, he welcomes them into their village, and we quickly learn that Amy at one point sees that the face of one of the creatures, of the mannequin, seemed to have moved. We also learn that this shogun is Shogun is the leader of Japan in its medieval period. What are they called? Like the temples that Japan made. Oh, that is really bad on my part. I do apologise. A holy site. It just says holy site on the. It just says temple. It says a temple on the back of here. So, my apologies. That's really bad on my part. But they basically learn that this temple is to guard a secret artifact, the Jarad Pyramid, a small little device which is declared a holy relic by the locals. And the Doctor and Amy, we basically learn through their dialogue that they've arrived here because they caught a distress signal, and the Doctor immediately links this with the Jarad Pyramid and and seems to be alright with leaving everything alone and having a nice little adventure with the villagers and trying to bargain with them. However, we quickly learn that the people from the Shogun Empire are coming to invade the village and take the Jarad pyramid for themselves, as apparently the taxes in the village have become extremely high, and the ruler of Japan basically wants to overthrow this village and takes their precious artifact as a show of punishment for the people. However, there is a man there, a fat man named Nasu, who's a Ronin. For those of you who don't know, a Ronin is a disgraced samurai, a high sort of general in the Japanese military at this time. And it is stated that if you basically get dishonored, you can reinstate your honor by committing suicide, by stabbing yourself in the chest and then pulling your sword into disgrace. And if you do not do that, you are a completely disgrace on your entire family and friends. And so this guy Nasu, he basically has disgraced the rank of Ronin and of samurai, and he had basically lived a life outside the ranks of a samurai. But in this village, he is actually sort of humbled in a way. There's this kind of strange relationship where they don't know if they really trust him or not. Even the doctor doesn't seem to trust him at one point, and he basically is the village's best defense for against becoming a martyr. And the doctor really doesn't want he doesn't really want to be involved in local affairs. However, he seems to have to, as if the military of Japan were able to get their hands on the Jarad pyramid, they could overuse its alien technology to advance Japan's technology to the point where it could alter history for better or for worse. But it will make a massive fracture in the timeline. So the doctor has become very sensitive onto the subject. And so we basically hang around with these characters for the most part. We get Sanda, who befriends the doctor, and Amy, who befriends Nasu, and they basically have two little adventures out on each other with the doctor and Nasta basically coming up with plans and wanted to learn about the local area, whilst Amy wants to learn more about where this pyramid is and where this pyramid come from, and hopefully she can get some information to help the doctor with Nasu. However, when they arrive in the temple, the mannequins, these giant bear-like things, start coming up and attacking. Now it's out here that the story kind of sounds familiar to me. A race, it turns out these things are robots. Robots disguising themselves as hairy beasts, protecting an alien artifact the shape of a pyramid, of a small pyramid. This feels like a great intelligence story. Does it not? It's basically the similar premise in that regard. Of course, later on we learn that this is not. But it makes me wonder, was this story originally supposed to feature the great intelligence? But Stephen Moffat turned it down because he wanted to use them later on in the series. That's quite interesting. It does make me wonder, was the Yeti originally involved in this story? That would be quite interesting and would tie into the fact that not only is Matt Smith Doctor heavily influenced by the second Doctor, but that Martin Day as a writer is also hugely prolific in the second Doctor era. So, or maybe it's a loving tribute. I don't know. But it does kind of feel very strange that we have these very similar plot lines. And then we learn after Amy and Nasu survive the encounter, do they realise that there are a ninja from the Shogun's army in the local area, and it assassinates Sata in front of the doctor, and the elder of the village is killed, leaving the village without a leader, without a man of honour to take up the ranks. And the doctor, Amy, and Nasu become prisoners as our military take over the village and decompose a house to be a new prison, only for these mannequins to start attacking as the doctor befriends a local dishonoured monk, Hiko, who no, I say dishonoured, he didn't want to become, he was a monk, however he became a farmer because he didn't really believe in the practices. However, his heritage as being a monk is still very important to him, and so he carries this disc around with him, which is to honour his past as a monk. However, the doctor realises that this is part of alien technology, which means that they recognise, the robots recognise him as an ally, and the doctor uses the signal that brings off from the circle as something so that they can get past into the temple easily, where they take this pyramid, they take the Jara pyramid, and they take it down a metal corridor which the monks have known to use. However, nobody actually knows what is at the end of the tunnel. It's a holy place, and the doctor deactivates the technology, realizing that these creatures here the aliens race had come here many years ago and were actually very peaceful, very kind, and they took one of the people there because they knew that the one person on this planet was in Japan at the time, had a disease which could be very deadly to this alien race. So they took him, they cured him, and when they went outside to explore and to basically let people know, the Japan culture of them being very fearful of villagers means that they killed the aliens. We also learn that one of the generals of the Armada, a samurai by the name of Tanaka, I think that's how you pronounce his name anyway. He is this ruthless samurai who is basically hell-bent on getting the Jara pyramid, and he really is implicit on just torturing and causing misery for the villagers. And Amy kind of clicks what is going on, and she puts together that this samurai, when he takes the taxes back to the emperor, to the shogun, he actually keeps some of the money for himself, and so the shogun gets disappointed with the lack of money he has, and asks for more funds, and it just keeps going in a repeated circle as Tansanaka keeps the funds for himself in secret, and the other samurai hear this, and they basically dishonor him right there and kill him, and they basically promise the village would be kept more safe in future, and the taxes, punishments will be reduced in time, and that's kind of the summation of the story, as the doctor states that the Jara pyramid was taken away by the gods. The gods have taken it as they were annoyed with the fact that these people try to take their precious items. So now you can leave and everything will be fine and dandy. Whilst the village now needs a new elder, and the doctor actually recommends Nasu as a great candidate to be the new elder of the village. And that's how the story ends, with the doctor basically revealing that this ship has healing properties, which is why so many people live for so well in the village. And the Doctor had, though deactivated most of the dangerous technologies, left the temple with the ability to heal very well. And Amy, who has cut nails, bruises and mud in her hair, jokes that let's go down there and see if it fixes me up. And that is the Jade Pyramid. Overall, it's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable. It's nice to see a Doctor in this environment, but it's not too well deep. The characters, the side characters, aren't that particularly interesting. We have some great descriptions by Martin Day and read by Matt Smith, who really give it their all, especially when it comes to the village and some of the expressions that the Doctor gives. Like there's a great moment where the Doctor is described as a living children's drawing caught in perpetual surprise. But basically sums up the 11th Doctor extremely well. But yeah, it's a great story, and if you're interested, I highly recommend it. But if you're not, or if you just maybe want to pick up, I'd say maybe, it depends. I don't think it will be anyone's favourite, but it is really cool to see the Doctor fighting samurais and giant robot bear creatures. So that's the Jade Pyramid. So join me next time where we go back to K9 and Company in the episode Aliation. I believe it's called Aliation. So I'll see you next time for that. And I'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-da!